Senator Antic.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. I rise this evening to speak in support of the National Skills Commissioner Bill 2020. Now, those in this place may know that I've already spoken in this place about the importance of a post-COVID-19 return for manufacturing opportunities in Australia, but of course particularly in my home state of South Australia. Under the visionary premiership of Sir Thomas Playford, South Australia was a manufacturing powerhouse. South Australia was clever, and it knew how to take wartime industries and adapt them into a post-war world. Post-COVID-19, however, everything has changed, and the job of rebuilding our economy is now ahead of us. And part of that rebuild involves the need to return manufacturing to our nation. Now, during his address to the National Press Club last month, the Prime Minister outlined the importance of a highly skilled workforce to support a modern, competitive and advanced manufacturing sector. Mr Acting Deputy President, this bill will establish a new statutory position, the National Skills Commissioner, and specify the functions of that Commissioner. This is a vital element in the government's JobMaker plan, enabling us to navigate our economic recovery in this global economy. The Commissioner will provide independent expert advice and national leadership on the Australian labour market, the current and future skill needs and workforce development issues. The Commissioner will examine the cost drivers and develop and maintain a set of efficient processes for VET courses to improve transparency, consistency and accessibility for students. So this role really couldn't be more timely as we address the critical challenges of managing the health and economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Indeed, the Productivity Commission's interim report suggests the government's view that the VET funding arrangements are currently flawed and overdue for replacement to address concerns of inconsistency and poorly designed function and a lack of transparency. Vocational education and training, VET, is one of the key career pathways, and it can further improve our capacity to grow and compete and thrive in a global economy. Further noted in this report is that regardless of the extent to which state and territory governments adopt a common national approach to subsidies, there are strong grounds for them to use common methods to measure costs and determine loadings. There's no denying that the world, the market and the needs of the market have changed as a result of COVID-19. The Commissioner and the National Skills Commission will help prepare Australia's labour market for that recovery. They will establish a robust new evidence base to strengthen the Australian education and training system. And as the economy evolves, we do need to ensure that jobs and the training associated are relevant to the jobs that will be available as they come out in this crisis. And this is why the Morrison government has identified skills and training as a priority in the JobMaker plan, so that the government is investing in the right skills at the right time. This will help us to close the gaps in the market and provide confidence to employers, to students and tertiary educators that we are providing a consistently trained and competent labour force. Australia's economic recovery will be particularly reliant on highly skilled, resilient and adaptable workforce. The skills needs of the economy are likely to evolve, and the jobs that will be made as we come out of the crisis may well not be the same as those predating the crisis. So the Commissioner will provide detailed labour market analysis, including an annual report each year setting out the skill needs for Australia. And the Commission will publish close to real-time data on labour markets to flag emerging skills shortages and other labour market trends. Using this data, we will be able to provide students with the most accurate and comprehensive data on where jobs will actually be and what qualifications they will need in order to secure them. This will help show that trade and skill jobs are ones to be aspired to, and ones to be aspired to as a first best option, not looked down upon or seen as a second best option in favour of a university degree. And it builds on the government's $585 million Delivering Skills for Today and Tomorrow skills package, and also contributes to COAG's agreed vision for VET to be a responsive, dynamic and trusted sector. Together with a National Vocational Education Training Regulator Amendment Bill 2020, this bill delivers some of the key elements of the 2019 expert review of Australia's VET system, led by the Honourable Stephen Joyce. The Morrison government is committed to driving improvement in the quality, relevance and accessibility of the VET system to underpin Australia's economic recovery. This is important, and it's important because COVID-19 has actually exposed certain deficiencies or shortcomings in our strategic autonomy, and it's shone a spotlight on the matters that I touched on earlier, being the urgent need to return some form of additional manufacturing capacity to our shores. So for this reason, earlier this year I started a campaign to bring back local manufacturing to South Australia. And it's my view, of course, in all matters, in order to best represent the needs of that particular sector or industry, it's important to be listening to their needs. It's important to be able to do that to enable us to adapt in this post-COVID-19 world and adapt to the new challenges these industries will face as well. So to assist in that understanding and understanding the needs of the manufacturing community, particularly in my home state of South Australia, I have spent several weeks visiting those businesses to try to understand their needs and try to understand the needs of the industry and the ways in which we in this place can help provide more opportunities and incentives to bring manufacturing back home. Last month, in fact, I visited the facilities and production lines of a company from South Australia called Packpot Manufacturing. Now, Packpot are an impressive South Australian company in the northern suburbs of Adelaide, producing plastic packaging containers for a range of different industries. They've invested in state-of-the-art machinery, allowing them to produce high-quality and efficient packaging. They've developed state-of-the-art designs and tooling which allow them to manufacture plastic products which are highly sought after in the market. I was shown their extraordinary systems which have been set up to ensure that this process can take place. The machinery itself and the processes are highly advanced, and they require employees with advanced training. And they also require employees with the skills to operate these machines and to operate those processes, and this is absolutely critical. The National Skills Commission will aid businesses like Packpot to continue to be world leaders and to do so from the safety of our shores. I also was given a tour of facilities operated by Novafast Systems. And Novafast Systems are producers of innovative pipe solutions and composite equipment production, providing equipment to all sorts of sectors, the oil, defence, marine, gas, mining and industrial sectors. Established in 1999, they're a proud South Australian company, and they're proof that Australian and South Australian manufacturing businesses can flourish on the national and the world stages. They're another example of how Australian know-how in providing jobs, intellectual property and capacity to the market is absolutely achievable for Australian businesses. Now, I was also pleased to visit the manufacturing facilities of Axiom Precision Manufacturing, also in the northern suburbs of Adelaide. And of course, it's important because South Australia, as we all know in this place, is the defence capital of this country. Here, a bit of dissent. Defence projects, of course, of this nature require defence-based manufacturing skills, and companies like Axiom Precision Manufacturing are great examples of South Australian SMEs which are rising to the challenge of providing advanced manufacturing solutions. They're providing precision machined parts, tooling and injection moulded components to high standards, and they are yet more proof that South Australia can provide superior solutions and once again, importantly, manufacturing them all from the security and surrounds of my home state. And these businesses are just a small cross-section of the businesses in South Australia which show what we all know, that Australian businesses are well placed to both compete on the world scene by providing world-leading products through advanced manufacturing and to play a critical role in the rebuilding of Australia's manufacturing base. Those businesses and many future South Australian and Australian businesses will lead that charge in the rebuild, and they will lead the way for other complementary businesses to play their part in what will be a strategic rebuilding of our sovereign manufacturing capability. We need to build it here. There's no reason why this country can't play a large part, and South Australia play an even larger part in the industrial and manufacturing renaissance of this country. We have a growing defence sector and one of the largest health science precincts in the Southern Hemisphere, not to mention the National Space Agency. Advanced manufacturing is a growth area, and it's an area to be fostered using these sectors as leverage. The National Skills Commission, therefore, is not just about jobs. It's about protecting our sovereign interests. Like many of you, the sight of pallets of important medical and personal protective equipment being shipped back to China by companies with links to the Chinese Communist Party at the time of the medical crisis may prove to be the most important lesson we learn from the COVID-19 pandemic. And as we move forward in our economic recovery, we must not forget these lessons. We can no longer be reliant solely on other nations or on authoritarian regimes like the Chinese Communist Party. Australia is a resource-rich country. However, the previous few decades have seen our manufacturing base placed under great pressure. This bill is a step in the right direction to ensuring that Australians have the right skills for the workforce of today and, of course, the workforce of tomorrow. So I commend the government for acting quickly to ensure that we support local businesses and manufacturing opportunities post-COVID-19. It's a proud moment to be a member of the Morrison government, the true party of the workers, the true party of small business, and I commend the bill.